Our
Macroeconomics
project
was
on
Macroeconomic
Equilibrium
by
Owen
and
Avery.
Yay!
Macroeconomic equilibrium is when in the economy the quantity of aggregate demand equals the quantity of aggregate supply. Changes in aggregate demand and supply has different effects on the economy, such as the rate of unemployment, price level, and GDP.
Here we begin our graph for long-run equilibrium with our horizontal axis representing GDP, or gross domestic product. Included in GDP is consumption, investment, government spending, and net exports.
As we continue our long-run equilibrium graph, we take a look at the vertical axis, price level, or PL. The definition of price level is the static picture of a price of a given good, service, or tradable security.
As we begin actually graphing instead of just creating axes, we'll do SRAS, standing for short-run aggregate supply. This represents the amount of supply in the economy over a limited period of time. As you can see, as price level increases, GDP also increases.
Continuing on to the aggregate demand curve of the graph, this is the total amount of goods and services demanded in the economy at a given overall price level and in a given time period.
Finishing up our base graph, we incorporate two boys planting money trees and our long-run aggregate supply curve. Notice it's a vertical line because it isn't influenced by the price level, such as the SRAS. It's more long-term.
Now that we've finished graphing the economy in the long-run equilibrium, let's get down to business and focus on the issues with the economy, starting with the recessionary gap. This is when the AD curve is just far too low, completely out of line with the SRAS and LRAS curves.
Agreed, Owen. This is totally out of line. As you can see, the price level has gone down and the GDP has gone down, moving our AD curve super far away from our equilibrium. It just makes me wanna...
Whoa! Chill out for a minute, Avery. Settle down. Although you are right, a recession is no laughing matter. A recession means a decrease in GDP, which in turn means lower price levels, which can hurt businesses, meaning higher unemployment due to more layoffs.
Woo-wee! I sure do hate those recessions, Owen, but let's move away from those and go to the inflationary gap, where instead of moving to the left, the AD curve moves to the right. And it's maybe not as mainstream and hated as recessions, but it can still be pretty bad.
A right-shifting AD curve means higher GDP and higher price level. Now, looking at the graph, isn't to the right always better? That man is buried in money. I don't see any problem with that, Avery.
Owen, I have no idea why you're laughing at that boy's expense. He is not having a good time. He's completely overpowered by the sack of money. Imagine your life savings being poofed away and all it's worth is one apple. One apple for all your life. Do you want that, Owen? What's wrong with you? This is because GDP increases and price level increases.
Avery, I am so sorry. I had no idea. Anyway, let's move on to the last economic problem, stagflation. Perhaps the worst of all of them. Stagflation occurs when the SRAS curve moves to the left. Now, what does that mean for us?
Owen, I cannot believe it. You've set me up perfectly for what I wanted to talk about. Stagflation is absolutely the worst, represented by the duty surrounding its name. This is because the price level goes up, which is bad, I don't want to pay more, and the GDP goes down. What the hell? Why aren't we doing as well?
You're right, Avery. This is bad news. Having the short-run aggregate supply curve move to the left means less is being produced, which means less jobs, which means higher unemployment. But unlike a recession, where the price level goes down, in stagflation, the price level goes up. So people that do have jobs can't even pay for basic goods and services.
Wow, that is terrible, Owen, but let's get on to solutions. For example, let's go back to our recessionary gap from before. Let's use an expansionary policy to fix that, meaning we could, decrease taxes, increase government spending. That's just fiscal policy. Let's talk about monetary policy. Let's just increase the money supply. That should do it. You idiot, Owen.
Why am I an idiot? Anyway, fixing the inflationary gap. This is done primarily by doing the opposite of fixing the recessionary gap, which means increasing interest rates, increasing reserve requirements, and reducing the money supply.
Whoa, Owen. Chill out with those sniffs, if you know what I'm saying. You could have at least said you used a contractionary policy to fix that inflationary gap. Anyway, let's move on to the big boys with the big boy. Me. Fixing stagflation is pretty much the hardest thing ever. The best method, though, is probably to increase interest rates, forcing the economy into a recession, and then using the good old expansionary policy.
Avery, let's settle down there. I wouldn't call yourself a big boy. You're a little boy, medium boy at most. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed our presentation and learned a lot on how to fix different macroeconomic problems. This has been Owen and Avery signing out. Yay!